everyone, hello, Chocolo Roberto here, but not for a video review. It's episode 23 of Look Back, at least I hope it's 23. Yeah, it's been a very long time since the last episode of Look Back, so I do apologise for this. It's just, I think you've seen in basically me alluding to it in other videos, but long story short is I was trying to sort of get editing my videos a bit better, things like this. It just took a lot of time, meant I got behind on Look Back. I think I was about a week behind anyway on it, and it just snowballed a bit. I just ended up being very far behind and more things to look back upon in my reviews, because what I do in Look Back is, those of you who don't know, is basically look back at what I reviewed 1 year and 5 years ago, because I've been doing the channel for that long now really, so yeah, maybe with time I'll start doing 10 years as well, but at the moment I've not been doing it for that long. About 2016 I started, so and I also sort of talk about whether I agree with what score I gave or not, and this, that and the other, just little comments on it really, whether in my opinion things have gone up or down, and also be interesting to see just what's around or not back in those days, so whether things have changed and things like this. So it can be quite interesting. Also go over other things as well around that time, such as other special videos, things like this, so we've mentioned them as well. Links for all these will be in the description also, so if you do fancy watching them, yeah, feel free to do so. But yeah, as I said, there's about over a month's worth of stuff in one video this time. Normally it's a week's worth, so so basically I'm going to be doing 2 videos of ultra catch-up look-backs, basically. One for all of April, I think it is, I didn't do, and one for all of May as well. So is it just pretty much anyway, give or take a video. So yeah, so anyway, so without further ado, let's get started. So I'll start with, you have been moving my mouse, so I've got a little text file behind the screens, or behind the scenes that I'm going to be referencing basically. So yeah, just obviously because I made a few notes, I went back and looked at all the videos, made a few notes on things like this. So first of all, I had quite a few member reviews from basically a year ago. I'll start with the year back basically, so you know, roughly now. You might also see some new fancy graphics as well. Well, this side actually it should be, although it might be that side if I change my mind, who knows. Yeah, basically it'll just make it easier for me to edit the videos, just the way I've done it basically. So hopefully we'll make look backs a bit quicker to do in the future. But yeah, first of all, member reviews. If those of you don't know, if you're you can become a member, link for that's in the description. If you're a bronze member above, you get a special exclusive review every week. Generally things I don't normally review as well, such as cereals and this, that and the other, so which you'll see in a minute as we talk about it. It's great to support the channel, so please check it out. I won't give the actual review score. It's just if you remember now, or if you want to become a member, these are what you can. You might have missed out on them, or you can go back and watch them. Or if you want to become a member, you can see a taste of what you'd be expecting. I've done quite a lot of reviews. I mean, I think it must be 70 plus exclusive member reviews, so you do there is a fair bit there, you know. But yeah, first of all I did the Nestle Cocoa Orange flavoured shreddies, then I did the Lotus Biscoff white chocolate ice cream. Now that was an indulgence, let me tell you. I also did the Oreo ice cream with Oreo cookie coating as well, sort of like I think it's like a cornetto looking affair with a big sort of ball of ice cream on top with a Oreo cookie surround. Interesting one. I also did the Doritos Stacks Ultimate Cheese review as well, so there's Doritos Stacks, a bit like Pringles basically. Interesting one. I also did the Nestle Kit Kat ice cream sticks review as well. So yeah, a few ice cream ones there, some cereal as I say, and also some crisps. So that's the kind of different type of review I do. So quite an interesting one. So as I say, if you do like the channel, want to support it, check out the bronze level membership. I say links in the description for that, and you'll probably see YouTube promote it every now and again. I also did some special things a year ago as well. I usually do a monthly update, as you know, but the April channel update from a year ago was the 5th anniversary special, so it might be worth checking that out. Had a little mini competition at the time to sort of suggest, request a review basically in the comments, an interesting one. But I also did a video where I reacted to my first, probably my first review, so yeah, that's an interesting one, so check that one out. Link, I'd say, is in the description. That's, yeah, an interesting one, that one. I did a chocolate mini eggs tier list as well, where I used a tier maker to essentially rank different mini eggs. So that's an interesting one as well. And I did a few tier lists a year ago. I also did the Cadbury Heroes tier list, was ranking the sort of the chocolates in the Cadbury's Heroes chocolate selection. So again, another interesting one. And I did the celebrations tier list also. So yeah, so a few interesting videos there. So go check those out. So links are in the description for them. So yeah, interesting videos, I think. So I might need to go back and do some tier lists at some point, because they are interesting videos. Just so you need sort of topics to do, basically. That's the thing. Yeah, there we go. Right, so yeah, I think on to the reviews proper then, I think that's all the special super duper type ones. So I did some live reviews, having said all that. You know, these are kind of, it's still reviews, but of course a bit slightly different than normal. But I did the, yeah, it was around Mother's Day, Easter, things like this. So Hotel Chocolat, well, more than a year ago. Hotel Chocolat Happy Mother's Day H-Box review. I did, you know, as I say, there's a lot of chocolates there, so I won't be giving individual now and then scores, because there's quite a few chocolates. It's about the experience as a whole, so yeah, best just to watch the videos for these sort of ones. And again, with the Tesco Milk dark and white chocolate selection review, I did that as well. That was an interesting selection, actually. Quite interesting. Good one to watch, that one. I also did a McVitie's Victoria biscuit selection review as well. Yeah, so I went through all the different biscuits there. Good biscuit selection from memory. And I did an Easter special Hotel Chocolate Extra Thick Rocky Road to Caramel Easter Egg. So that's another one of those £30 sort of monster Easter eggs that Hotel Chocolat do. So that was an interesting one. Yeah, this year I did the white chocolate one. Last year I did that one. So yeah, check that one out. Very indulgent. Yeah, very indulgent. And I did a couple of Easter special mystery reviews as well. So these ones are ones I will individually talk about. So the first one, part 2. I think I did an Easter. I think I did that, covered this other one in last look back, I think. So we'll go over these ones, and yeah, these are individual reviews. So there's quite a few here. So I did 5 in each. There's a part 2 and 3 for the Easter specials live reviews I did here. So apologies if I'm looking off to the left, by the way. That's just where the text file is. Like, obviously I can't see it if I'm looking at the camera. Yes, first we'll start off with Dairy Milk mini eggs. Basically, I gave these a 4 out of 5. I did try these again this year, you know, and I don't know if they've got worse or what, but I gave these 4 out of 5, as I say, and I said there's like gaps in the middle. Now I tried these this year, and basically the gaps were ridiculous to the point where the actual eggs kind of collapsed, really. Really poor, actually, these ones. So these are going to be, I don't know, I think, if those, basically 1.5 out of 5, they're just terrible, basically, they're just terrible. I don't think I actually reviewed them this year, I think I just had them separately. So 1.5 out of 5, these ones. I was originally going to get rid of the 1.5 out of 5 rating, because I thought, I can't think of, it just seems, I couldn't really, I was confused as to where I would put a 2 out of 5 and a 1.5 out of 5, you know, what the difference really was. But it's when something is, not necessarily where something is horrible, but it's just so poor that, you know, it's definitely well below average to the point where, which is normally a 2 out of 5, that it's just so, it's on another level really, but it's not horrible. So that's the difference between 2 and 1.5 out of 5, and these ones definitely qualify for that. So definite fall from grace there. They must have just got worse, I think, because I can't believe I would have given them a 4 out of 5 back then, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I did the Maltesers Bunny as well. It used to be called the Maltester. Give this 4 out of 5. Said it's not as good as it was, just because it's lost the wow factor. It used to be such an indulgence and different product, you know, something very interesting and unique. And it's not, I guess it is unique to an extent now, but I don't know, it feels like it's a bit more mundane than it used to be, just because you've seen it and done it and it's been around for so many years now. 4 out of 5 is what I gave it, and I think that's a good enough mark. I think that's suitable, really. 4 out of 5, I think it's a nice one, just doesn't have the wow factor that it used to, basically. Then did the Smarties mini eggs. I like these. I'll give them 4.5 out of 5, actually. I thought very nice and crunchy. Good taste as well. I think the sugar coating does give a nice taste to them. Yeah, I don't know, that seems a bit high. I feel like maybe it'd be a 4 out of 5. Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in two minds about that one as to whether 4.5 out of 5 is too high. I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt there. But it does seem a bit high. I'm tempted to say maybe it's probably between a 4 and a 4.5. So I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt, keep it the same. But it's a close one between those two. Then did review the Dairy Milk, basically Easter egg, a hollow, just a standalone egg. It didn't come in a box, I don't think. Quite an interesting one. I thought it was quite nice, actually. Lovely Dairy Milk chocolate. I thought it was quite good value for money as well, just because it's an egg. You don't get any nonsense with it. And I think it was relatively cheap, a £1 or 2 maybe. 4.5 out of 5 again. And I think that's about right. Dairy Milk chocolate's very nice. I moved between 4 and 4.5 out of 5 for Dairy Milk chocolate. And I think, well, we don't normally talk about value for money because it's different to everyone and you indulge yourself sometimes, you know, things are kind of, you know, as I say, it depends on the situation, what you're buying it for, this and the other. It's a hard one to put into context. The price, I think, is the gist of it. But this one, all in all, I thought was a pretty good product for what it was, and Dairy Milk is always nice. And yeah, 4.5 out of 5 I gave that one, and I think that's probably about right, really. But just take into account the fact that it was just a no-nonsense egg, and it was relatively cheap. But it tasted nice. And lastly, for the Mr. Review Easter special, part 2, I did the Lint Hazelnut Bunny. Yeah, and I gave this, let's see, well, I said probably it would be a 3.5 out of 5, but because it's an Easter product, this and the other, it just has this sort of the Easter factor to it. And I thought I gave it a 4, and I think that's probably about right. 4 out of 5, I think that's probably about right, really. The hazelnut one is not my favourite. I prefer the other ones, really. I'm not a massive fan of chopped hazelnuts and chocolate. Sometimes they can be nice. It can depend, you know, if they're flavoured and things like this, I prefer them more. But yeah, there we go. Then for the Easter Mystery Review Special Part 3. So a few going on here. I did the mini egg choc cakes. So basically these are sort of Cabbies mini eggs in cake form, really. And I said them are pretty, I don't know, I gave these a 3 out of 5, and they basically just had, it was just like a sort of cake with a mini egg on top. I don't know, I gave it 3 out of 5. I feel that's probably, yeah, I don't know. There's nothing too mini egg about them, I say, other than that mini egg on the top of them. I don't know. 3 out of 5. I'm tempted to say 2.5 out of 5, but I think I'll give that the benefit of the doubt as well. 3 out of 5. I think it was a reasonable product, but it just could have been more mini egg. Like, it could have had more mini eggs on it. So it just had 1. It could have had 3, and I think it would have been, you know, in each cake. You know, I think it might not have looked as good as, you know, but it would have definitely had more substance to it. I kind of understand why they didn't do it. Well, for one reason, obviously, it cost them more to do it, but I can see that just having 1 on would still achieve the same difference for them, for Cadbury. So I think I'll stick with a 3. Probably, you know, it was no higher than a 3, let's put it that way. Then the Oreo mini eggs dairy milk, yeah. So yeah, I said they're better than you think, but they're still you know, and it helps the fact that they're smaller. You know, just the quantities of the middle just helped. But again, I've had these this year, and there's just there's a gap where the eggs are sort of sealed together. There's a massive gap between them to the point where it actually collapses when you put it in your mouth. It just falls apart completely. If you try and snap it in half or anything, you can actually just break it. It's just there's so much air in between them. So again, this is down to 1.5 out of 5. Really poor, really cheap, really badly made product. So yeah, it might have been the case a year ago, or I just missed it. But this year when I had them, they were terrible. Then the Cadbury Bunny Vanilla Mousse. It's basically yeah, sort of like a, you know, it's one of those typical. It's sort of 3D on one side but flat on the back. I said it was you know, basically just cream. Didn't really seem to taste like vanilla, basically. You know, I think in this case the vanilla means there's just no flavour almost. You know, I gave this 2.5 out of 5. And that's probably about right. It looks okay, but it was just a bit bland and not very interesting. So I think that's probably about right. If anything, it's a 2, but that's something, if you know, rather than a 3. But I think I'll stick with a 2.5 out of 5. That's probably about right. Now the Dairy Milk Dime Mini Eggs. So again, this is another one where I gave it 2.5 out of 5, but again, putting this down to 1.5 out of 5, just purely because it's just, again, another one with this massive gap where the seam is, and then the filling is just not filled to the top, so there's just a massive gap in the middle of the egg, because basically it's 2 halves joined together. Really poor, 1.5 out of 5. Just, as I say, if you just squidge them, they just fall apart. They're just terrible. So yeah, 1.5 out of 5 those. And then did the Oreo white chocolate Easter egg. Yeah, so it's basically a white sort of Cadbury, I don't know if it's actually Cadbury white, but it's a white chocolate Easter egg with bits of Oreo in it. What did I say? So I have to move along a bit. Again, it's a 2 out of 5. Basically cookies and cream. Disappointing, no real Oreo taste in there, you know, so it's just basically cookies and cream just under the Oreo branding, essentially. Gave it 2 out of 5. Yeah, I can understand that, just a bit disappointing. I'd say no real Oreo, you know, as I say, other than the little crunchy cookie bits inside the or biscuit bits inside the egg itself, which is okay, but I just felt all in all it was basically just one of these sort of Hershey style cookies and cream bar in egg form. Just wasn't really very good. So 2 out of 5 I think is about right. Okay, now for actually what I did with you individually a year ago. Yeah, so first of all I did the Ferrero Cocoa mini eggs. I gave these a 4.5 out of 5. I guess that there's not enough variety in these, and I feel like maybe I don't know. I remember I can't believe it's a year ago actually that I remember really bigging these up, saying how gorgeous they were, this, that, and the other. And I think when I had them, I was a slight bit disappointed actually. I don't know. I feel like there should have been like a bit of a cocoa nib or some crunch in the middle of it. I feel like maybe I preferred the actual. They did 2 types. I think one was a hazelnut cream. I think I actually possibly preferred that one really. 4.5 out of 5. I think that's probably about right. You know, rose tinted specs, things like that. I remember thinking they were a 5 out of 5. Really nice, really gorgeous, but. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they were still nice, but just not quite as good as I remembered, I think, but still lovely. Really recommend these ones if you see them, I'll say, around Easter time. You won't be able to get them now, but they're really nice. And the hazelnut cream ones as well. Gorgeous, really gorgeous. Lovely crunch on the outside, lovely chocolate indulgent centre. Really nice. 4.5 out of 5 I think is about right. Then did the Cabbies mini cream eggs. I gave these a 2 out of 5. So there's not many in the pack. Hardly any fondant. It's not liquid as well, so it's kind of like it sort of solidified the cream in the centre. And I said the chocolate was a bit poor as well. And I think again the amount of that gap in the middle, 2 out of 5. I think it's possibly could be a 1.5 out of 5. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think you know what? I think I possibly will lower these. Well, I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt on these ones. Give these a 2 out of 5. But they, as I say, they could be ones again with that massive gap in the middle. They just collapse. But I think having the fondant centre makes them a bit more interesting. Only just so. They're border between 1.5 and the 2. These, but I'll stick with a 2 out of 5. I think. There are the Nestle Milky Bar mini eggs. And I said, strange one, these ones. I didn't really like the shell taste. I felt the shell sort of, you know, like with these, like the Smarties and other sort of chocolate shell, you know, candied shell products like this. The shell seeps into the chocolate a bit, and I felt that it just affected the chocolate, which is usually really nice. Nestle white chocolate, you know, their Milky Bar chocolate's really lovely, but yeah, it just didn't really work for me in this one. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 in the end. So I like the chocolate, but I don't know, the egg, the way it, I don't know, seemed to perhaps affect the taste of the chocolate. It just didn't work for me. So 3 out of 5. I'm disappointed. I'd say Nestle white Milky Bar white chocolate's probably a 4.5 or 5. So yeah, disappointing that one. But yeah, I think a 3 out of 5 is probably about right from memory. Now did the Cadbury's mini eggs. Yes, the Cadbury's mini is always a good staple, these ones. I felt like I was a bit underwhelmed with these though, I said. I do like them. I like the sort of they have like a weird powderness to the shell. They look very pastel as well. They always look nice. Give them 3.5 out of 5. So I was a bit underwhelmed, but it's close to a 4. Difficult one, this one. I feel they are between a 3.5 and a 4. I think I'll stick. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about mini eggs, isn't there, really? I think it depends on the day. They could be a 3.5 sometimes, but sometimes a 4, I think. I think I'm going to, you know, I'm going to up it to a 4. I think they are a bit underwhelming at times, but there's something about them that just works. So a 4 out of 5, I think that's probably about right, but it could fluctuate back and forth between those two ratings, I think. Then we have Nestle Aero chocolate mini eggs. I gave these a 4 out of 5 actually. I said that the fact that they're smaller really helped. Not really HO, those ones that sort of like where they've got two halves that are identical stuck together, sort of like rugby balls basically. I'm trying to think what I gave the melts recently. I think they're kind of a similar thing really. Let's say 4 out of 5. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that might be a bit too high, but I just thought they quite worked. The size of them helped a lot. I don't know, when compared to the melts, I'm not sure I reviewed recently. I think I gave them maybe a 3 out of 5, I think, maybe 3.5. I think these ones just, the size of them just worked a bit better. But it's like a sort of like a, you know, not a counter, but a bit bigger. So I think I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt there. I think I was pleasantly surprised with those. I think normally with Aeros, I'm just not a massive fan, but these ones being a bit smaller, but the size they were, I think just worked. It's probably one of the better ways to have Aeros, I think. So for me, 4 out of 5, it's perhaps a bit high. Maybe it should be a 3.5. But I don't know. I seem to remember just thinking, you know, these were the way to have Aero, really. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt there. As I say, the smaller bubbles and things really work for me. So, but it's probably likely to be 3.5 rather than a 4 for sure. So yeah, there we go. I'll stick with that, but give myself the benefit of the doubt. Then did the Hershey's Cookies and Cream Egg. Give this a 2. So there's a massive gap in the egg in the middle again where two seams are put together. Didn't really taste them much. I'm never a big fan of this cookies and cream style filling and things like this. So as I'm sure long-time viewers of the channel will know, 2 out of 5 I think is about right. So yeah, just was a disappointing egg, that one. Then the Cabbage Cream Egg. Yeah, I gave this a 3 out of 5. I think I've reviewed the Cabbage Cream so many times. So I wasn't overly impressed with the chocolate filling. I think, I don't know, generally I feel like this one, again, it's another one where sometimes if you're really up for it and you're really ready for it, I think at the time it was around Easter, I probably had a few of them. I feel like the cream egg is a 4 really. I'm going to up this to a 4, I think. It's just got something about it that really works and it's an excitement every year. And I don't know, it can be a bit boring sometimes. You can sort of, I don't know, be like, oh, another cream egg and things like this. But I don't know. I think they are nice. I think a 4 out of 5 is more like it really. But on occasion, as I say, sometimes I'm a bit cream egged out, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you just go into it just expecting what, you know, that it's just a cream egg and not the miracle that you think it is from, you know, every Easter and this sort of indulgent wonder that it is. It's actually relatively mundane, but it's a good experience. You know, the centre is, you know, a bit sickly and a bit too much of it, but it just about works, and it's, I think a 4 is about right. It's, you know, if anything, it's a 3.5 rather than a 4.5. But yeah, I think I'll give it a 4. I did the Galaxy Enchanted Eggs review. These are the ones used to be, I think I've reviewed 5 years ago. I did the golden ones. I think they were called golden eggs or something. The enchanted ones. I've always found these a bit disappointing in a way. They don't have a shell. They look like they have a shell, but they're just sort of sprayed basically. And also because it's like a pink spray, meant to look like sort of rose gold, but they look a bit more like brown gold, as I always say. They just, because they're sprayed on sort of milk chocolate, they have a sort of weird brown look to them. It's a very strange colour really. So I said no shell, and the sort of the brown look to it doesn't work very well. I said it's it got caramel pieces in well, and I said it just doesn't quite work too well. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I said it just doesn't really, the caramel just doesn't work with the sort of galaxy taste basically, and you lose that. So I gave them 3 out of 5. They were just okay. So I think that's fair enough. Caramel just didn't work with the galaxy taste, as I say, and it meant you didn't really taste the chocolate as well as you should do, which is what the galaxy products are really all about generally. So yeah, 3 out of 5 is about right. Now I did the Cabby Twirl Bites with caramel review. These are Australian imports. Give these a 4 out of 5. I said the dairy milk's not the best, being the Australian dairy milk. Apologies to any Australian viewers out there, but it's just not quite as good as the UK one. It's not what I'm used to, not what I would describe as dairy milk. But it's still nice. The caramel milk's always good, and the texture of the twirl bites was really nice. And I felt a bit of a funny smell to them as well. And I thought it wasn't as good as the bigger bar, the actual regular bar version. So 4 out of 5, still a good result, still a good score, but there was just something a bit off about them really. But I still gave them a 4. I think I'll still stick with that, but yeah, it could have been better. Then I reviewed the Everdell's Dark Cherry review. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. It's really lovely dark chocolate and cherry filling. It's got a bit of a cream filling in as well, from memory. Really nice, really lovely. As I say, really interesting looking bar as well. The segments are very unique. At least they used to be. I believe they might have changed now, but really nice bar. Big segments. You get like 4 segments a bar basically, but it's a big 100-gram block or 90-gram block. If I reduced it now, maybe. I'm not sure, but it probably was 100 at one point, but now it's probably 90. I'm not sure, I can't recall exactly, but I seem to recall something along those lines. But it's a gorgeous combination, dark chocolate and cherry, really nice. But I thought the dark chocolate wasn't overly strong. But having said that, that's probably how I prefer it. But maybe with the cherry and things, just didn't quite sort of work as well as you would have liked, perhaps, or wasn't quite strong. But 4 out of 5, it's a really nice bar. I think just like that killer edge to sort of take it just slightly further up. But I think that's still a very nice bar. 4 out of 5. I think I'll stick with that. If anything, it's a 5, not a 4. But I think I'll stick with 4.5 out of 5. And the Maltesers Caramel Shortcake Milk Chocolate Bites. Yeah, I gave these a 2 out of 5. I was missing one, meant to be 10. It literally says 10 caramel shortcake, whatever they're called. Caramel shortcake milk chocolate bites. It said 10 of them on the pack. And I was missing one, famously, if you remember, or infamously. When I was opening them, there was one missing. Really poor, and I thought they just tasted quite bland. And as I said, to be missing one was ridiculous as well. I mean, whether I should count that against it, I'm not sure. But they were quite bland anyway. 2 out of 5. I think I'll stick with that. Yeah, a bit disappointing, that's for sure. Then I had the Cabbage Twirl Bites mint flavour review. So these are very similar to the caramel ones. They probably put mint this time. I gave these a 4.5 out of 5 as well. I thought again, it's got that nice twirl texture, sort of flaky chocolate, a bit like an actual Cadbury's flake. Worked really well. The mint was quite subtle, and I thought worked nicely as well. I like a bit more of a subtle mint taste, but I thought it might not be strong enough for some people, basically, is the gist of it. But I really, I thought it was really nice. Worked very well for me. 4.5 out of 5, I think, is the right score. Could have been, not quite perfect, but very, very, very nice chocolates. Very nice. And so that mint just worked for me. Then I had, yes, the Flips Cookies and Cream. Yeah, I give this a 4 out of 5 just because, it's basically these pretzels covered in a sort of coating. It's a cookies and cream flavour coating. I thought, well, there's not really any cookies here. It's just sort of like a cream taste. That was one problem with it. But I thought generally they were quite nice. Really. I quite like that pretzel taste. It worked well, that sort of saltiness with the sweetness. It worked okay. Could have been better. As I say, the fact it didn't really incorporate any kind of cookies part to it, I thought was a bit disappointing. So if anything, it's probably lower than a 4, not higher. But I think 4 is probably about right. Then I did the Cabby's White Marvellous Creations review. Yeah, so gave this a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was interesting. We didn't get many jellies with it. There's sort of a sensor where you basically got sort of jellies, and I think it was like crunchy bits as well. Maybe popping candy, stuff like this. You just didn't have much taste to it, and the Cabby's White Chocolate's not the best, really. And I felt it was just a bit disappointing. Just the filling wasn't too great. I say, a bit more interesting than just a regular Cabby's White, but I just felt like it didn't have enough jellies in it or interesting parts, which are sort of the wow sort of, the craziness to the bar, but it just wasn't sort of there. So 3 out of 5. Interesting bar, but nothing too special. I think that's about right. And then what do we get as well? Had the Cadbury's Caramel Egg review as well. Yeah, it's a bit, I gave this a 3 out of 5. I said there's no taste to the shell. I didn't think the caramel was as good on its own. And the chocolate was too thick. I feel like I don't agree with this actually. I think this is a 4 out of 5. I think, the caramel is quite nice and buttery, and I think having a thick chocolate shell as well works quite well. I think I was saying there's just not enough caramel, I think. But I don't know, I quite like these. I think maybe last year, I don't know, as I say, I sort of gave the cream egg a bit of a lower score. Maybe I was just being a bit harsh on the chocolate eggs last year, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this is a 4 out of 5. It's got loads of caramel in there. It's nice and thick and gooey and gorgeous. Yeah. I think it's definitely better than the 3. It's a 4, this one, I think. I just like the thick chocolate and the caramel. I think it works quite well, actually, better than I said there. So yeah. Now I did the Aero Darkened Milk Peppermint review. Give this 3.5 out of 5. I said tasted a bit off at times, possibly due to the mint and the bubbles were too large. Just like I was saying before, you know, I prefer the sort of the mini eggs, the Aero mini eggs, because the bubbles were just a bit thinner and I think it just worked a bit better. Yeah, I said it tasted a bit off, but it looked great. 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit weird to say it tastes a bit off at times. I don't know, but just something not quite right about it, I think is what I meant with that, rather than it sounds a bit worse, so it tasted a bit off. But yeah, 3.5 out of 5. I think that's probably about right. That they were okay, but just not, I'd say not quite right in places, but still nice. 3.5 out of 5. I think it's probably about right. If anything, it's a 3, of course, not a 4. Then did the Galaxy Orange Chocolate Chunk Cookies review. Now these were, I gave these a 2.5 out of 5. No real taste of orange or Galaxy, and the chocolates were quite small. They weren't really chunks, they were just like little buttons as well. I gave this 2.5 out of 5. I can't believe I gave this that high. I think this one's a 1.5 out of 5. It's just a poor product, this one. Really poor. So it didn't really taste of Galaxy. There was no real sort of orange taste. And the chunks in them were just little buttons rather than big thick chunks. Really disappointing. 1.5 out of 5 for sure, this one. Really poor. Now the Topic chocolate bar. Yeah, this one I think has been discontinued. Someone said in the comments not long ago. Yeah, really disappointing. Basically a Snickers but with hazelnuts and a slight difference to the nougat. But that's essentially what it is. I prefer peanuts. You know, I prefer Snickers to start with. I gave this a 3 out of 5. I said it's too many hazelnuts for me. And it kind of gave me a sort of catch in the throat type, sort of effect to me really. I think 3's probably. I think I was giving it the, you know, I think I was kind of. I could giving it a rating, not for me, but just knowing what it was and things. And I think just generally saying it's a 3 out of 5. I know some people really like it. I think for me it's probably a 2 out of 5, but I bumped up to a 3. Just to say, look, I can appreciate it for what it is, but you know, I think that's wise. So I think for me it's a 2 out of 5, but you know, I think I bumped up to a 3 because I thought, well, you know what, I know what it's doing and this and the other, and I think it'd be unfair for me to penalise it because just whole hazelnuts are just not for me. So, you know, it's one of those though really, because obviously it's a bit complicated that, because I could say, well, it should be a 4 or a 5, you know, because I'm just saying, well, you know, I'm not based on what I think, but what I think on others think. But of course, other people who really like it will think higher. But what I mean is, I feel like there's a gap in the market for it, and it fills it relatively well. I think it could be better though. I think there's just too many hazelnuts for me. So while I could appreciate it, I feel like it's just, you know, too much of, I don't know, it just wasn't. It was just a bit of an average bar, so I don't know. So it's a bit of a difficult one. I know some people really like, as I say, and maybe I should have been honest and just said 2 out of 5. But as I say, I could appreciate it, so I gave it a 3. So I think I'll keep it at that. But it's a complicated one. And then finally, for a year ago, I did the Lindor White Mini Eggs. Yeah, so I gave these 3.5 out of 5. So they were sort of still sickly, because basically Lindor, you know, I really like them in theory, but in practice, just too much filling for me. And they used to do the mini Lindor balls, which are basically, you know, still spherical but a lot smaller. But I haven't seen them for a long time. They're just doing the mini eggs now that I've seen in the small ones, and they're still a bit too big for me. I gave them a 3.5 out of 5. They're still sickly and a bit too big. And again, they're not actually egg-shaped either, which is disappointing. They're sort of two identical halves stuck together. So I don't like it when that happens. If it's an egg, it should be egg-shaped, basically. So yeah, so I know people love Lindor. Obviously, if you do love Lindor, this is probably a 4.5 out of 5 for you. But for me, I don't know, just a bit too sickly for me. You see why it's a bit difficult, what I was saying before about rating the topic based on, you know, appreciating it for what it is. Of course, I could do that with everything, couldn't I? So that's why. But topic was a bit different. It's a very niche bar. But Lindor ones, yeah, just a bit too sickly. The portions are not quite right for me. Oh, yeah, so 3.5 out of 5. It's a bit better than the regular, solid, bigger ones as far as the sickliness is concerned, but it's still, the ratio is still not quite right for me. The mini Lindors that they did, I said, they were little balls. They were just a lot better proportioned, I think. Just got it just about right. Right, then 5 years ago, yes, let's have a look. So yes, not quite as many 5 years ago, but still a few. Still a few. Obviously I wasn't doing live reviews, things like that 5 years ago. So yeah, first of all I did Cadbury's Dairy Milk Oreo, peanut butter. This one, I gave this a 2 out of 5. This one, yeah, I think this is probably, it's bordering between a 1.5 and a 1, I think, because it was just a really poor, just wasn't very nice. It wasn't nice on any level. The peanut butter, I love sort of peanut butter in chocolate generally, but this one just wasn't very good. It's nearly a 1 out of 5, I think, but I'm going to give it a 1.5, I think, just because it wasn't horrible, but it really was very close. It's like a 1.25, this one, or 1.33 as Rick would say. But yeah, Really, just disappointing, this one. You know, I'd say it could be a 1 out of 5, but it wasn't actively horrible, so it's a 1.5. Yeah, really disappointing, really disappointing. In fact, I was really excited for it as well. I remember sending it to a friend, thinking, oh yes, try this one, you know, it must be great, and it just wasn't. And I'd not tried it myself until I'd sent it. I think as I promised I'd send it and then tried it and realised, oh god, it's not going to be very nice. But yeah, there we go. 1.5 out of 5. And with the Reese's Sticks chocolate bar, yeah, so I give this 5 out of 5. I really love this one. It's like a Kit Kat or a Kit Kat chunk. It's 2 fingers, so it's a bit of a mix between them both. But with peanut butter, and the peanut butter is quite a strong one. So the peanut butter's a bit stronger, but it is one of my all-time favourites. And I said maybe the peanut butter's bit too strong, but I don't think it is. I think it's just about right. It's really nice. Love this one. Seem to see it in Morrison's more than anywhere else, but really nice chocolate bar Reese's Sticks. Really like it. The peanut butter's lovely. Really well proportioned. Really nice. And that crunch on the wafer. I'd say just like a Kit Kat in a way, Kit Kat chunky. But yeah, really nice. 5 out of 5 for sure, that one. Classic. One of my all-time favourites. Then the Cadbury's Dairy Milk Oreo Mint. So this was similar to the Reese's one. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 for mint fans, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't much like Dairy Milk. This one's down for sure. This is a 2 out of 5, this one. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. It was, you know, Oreo Mint, just all these things. 5 years ago, I think it was a bit more novel, but nowadays, just no. 2 out of 5. It's got the Oreo sort of cream scent. I mean, I guess it works a bit better with because it's mint flavoured, but it didn't have much of a Dairy Milk taste. This one, no. Just 2 out of 5. If anything, it's a 1.5 out of 5, not a 2.5. But yeah, 2 out of 5. Nope. And they've discontinued this one and the peanut butter one, and I'm not surprised. Then we did the Cadbury, I did a few funny ones here. Cadbury milk, egg and spoon reviews. Did about 3 or 4 reviews all at once. I was doing those quite more frequently 5 years ago. I gave them all a 4, but I said the Cadbury's one was a bit too sickly compared to the milk one, which is a surprise really. But they're all quite interesting. Basically, sort of get them in like a pack of 4. Looks like a mini egg box. You get like a little plastic spoon, and you can crack open the top like an egg and then eat the filling. Quite an interesting one. There's different types of fillings. So I say go watch that review to see them all. One of my older ones, of course, but yeah, interesting one. But they're all a 4 out of 5. You can still see some of them available today. I think there's maybe only 1 or 2 of them still available of all the flavours that they did do. But interesting. Around Easter time, of course. Then I did the the Cadbury's Easter egg cake selection box review. I think Andrew Winton might have recommended this to me, or maybe Luke Carrigan. I'm not sure. I rated the cakes individually, so you're gonna have to go check this one out to see the actual score. Interesting one. It's like basically, as I say, a selection box of about 5 or so cakes, really, like, you know, mini roll size cakes. Quite interesting. Like I mentioned a year ago, I reviewed the mini egg cake bar. Basically, that sort of thing inside just this one box. A very interesting product. I haven't seen it since. I might still do it, but I've not seen it. So check that one out. Interesting. Then did the Cadbury's Flake caramel mini egg and crunchy tart reviews. This was again another one where I reviewed loads of things at once. Basically, like little sort of tarts. You get a pack of 6 for all these individual ones. Let's say flake, caramel, mini egg, and crunchy. Those 4 Cadbury products. They were just rubbish, really. To be honest with you, I gave them all. What did I give them all? 2 out of 5. You just get. I'd say just get the bars basically, because there's just so much pastry in them. Pastry went everywhere. They just weren't very good. Just too crumbly. I think these are probably 1.5 out of 5. Actually, these ones they just weren't very good. So they're all going down to 1.5 out of 5. I don't think they do them anymore because they were just pretty poor. Just get the bars, as I say. Bars are so much better, and they gave you the experience. The actual tarts didn't really even give you the experience of the chocolate bar they represented. So yeah. I give the and the Whittaker's creamy milk chocolate. So yeah, so I've got a few views on this one actually. New Zealand chocolate maker Whittaker's. Should review more of them really. I want to do an update for those. I think a friend from New Zealand sent me these. Gave it 3 out of 5. Nice chocolate. I thought it was relatively decent milk chocolate. I wasn't bowled away. I think I was comparing it to Phase a lot at the time. You know, might have to re-review this one really to get a better handle on it rather than just base it on what I said at the time. But it was a nice chocolate, 3 out of 5. Yeah, so if anything, it's higher, not lower. But yeah, I think I'll agree with that for now. Now I did the Whittaker's Hokey Pokey chocolate bar. Yes, this is basically honeycomb. Hokey Pokey's honeycomb basically. It's what they call it in Australia and New Zealand, I think. I said I wasn't too impressed with the chocolate really. Yeah, I don't know. I gave it 2 out of 5. Sounds a bit harsh to me, that one. So I don't know whether I think I'll have to re-review this one rather than just say, you know, it sounds a bit harsh to me. Sounds like it possibly should be 2.5 or to a 3 really. But I just said I wasn't too impressed with the chocolate. I think it wasn't the same as the one in the bar that I mentioned about previous one. I gave 3 out of 5. So I think I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt then and say 2 out of 5. It just sounds like there was something not quite right with that bar. there we go. So yeah. Then the Whittaker's Jelly Tip Block chocolate bar. Yeah, so it had like sort of like a jelly centre, basically. Jellies in the UK jelly, wobbly jelly. I thought it was very interesting. Had like I think like a white chocolate top or a bottom, I seem to remember as well. Interesting bar, not much milk chocolate. I thought the jelly might be better when it was refrigerated as well. A bit of white chocolate, as I say. So an interesting one, 4 out of 5. I thought it just wasn't quite as... It was more... I guess it's better than some of its parts. It was interesting, but I felt like it was just a bit disappointing as well. But 4 out of 5, unique bar. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I think it could have been a bit better. And I think it was one that needed to be refrigerated as well. They did a few Lily O'Brien's. The Lily O'Brien's Caramel Crunch chocolate bar. 4.5 out of 5. I said this one was really nice. Very lovely feeling, smooth chocolate. 4.5 out of 5. I think actually bars these ones as well. I thought they do little counter ones. I've not seen the bars since. 4.5 out of 5. I think it did look very nice and endured that. So I think that's about right, really. And I also did the Lily O'Brien's Salted Caramel as well. Really nice bar. Lovely chocolate. I felt like maybe it needed more texture in like a biscuit or something like that. But I think that might be a bit harsh. Gave it a 4 and a 4.5. I think I'll, I'm not sure what I actually gave it. I think I wasn't sure at the time. So I think I'll stick with a 4 for this one. From what I was saying, I think it just needed something a bit more to it, but maybe a bit of a crunch in there. But sounded very nice either way. But yeah, I think I'll settle on a 4 out of 5 for that one. So about the same really. And I did the Lily Brown's Multi Chocolate Crunch, a bit like a sort of, I guess like a Maltesery type filling, I guess. But I said 2.5 out of 5. I didn't like the taste of the crunch basically, and had a bit of a weird aftertaste. So I wasn't too happy on this one. So 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, probably stick with that one. I'll have to review this one again, I think, as it was 5 years ago. It sounds like it probably will be a 2 rather than a 2.5 out of 5. But I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt there, because it's been one that I don't think I've seen since. So yeah, one of those. So it might be one that's disappeared now, these Lily O'Brien ones. I think I see the counters when they do these mini sort of large button type effects. They're quite big, actually, not a bit more than buttons, but I don't know if they do these bars anymore. There's some Carl Fazer ones as well. I was doing quite a lot of Carl Fazer back then. So Carl Fazer's creamy milk and regular milk chocolate bar. So I kind of compared them both. I was saying before, I did quite a lot of sort of duo reviews back in the day. And so I gave these a 3.5 and a 4. I preferred the non-creamy one, but still enjoyed it basically. So yeah, as long-time viewers of the channel know, I do tend to prefer sort of milk chocolates, not quite too creamy really. I did prefer the non-creamy one, which is why I gave 4, but I still liked the one. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I think that's probably about right, really. Yeah, interesting. Nice couple of bars, really. Nice milk chocolate. Carl Fazer's milk chocolate, I do really like, actually. It's very nice. Now I reviewed Carl Fazer's 47% dark chocolate. I'd like to review this one. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I said it was mild dark chocolate. I say 47%. I said it was perhaps too mild. I feel like I need to review this one. I feel like that wouldn't be too mild for me now. I think I've settled on the 40% dark chocolate in the 40 range is generally where I like to be at. So I think this one, I'm going to assume that I got this wrong. I'm going to say a 4 out of 5 for this one. So I've been a bit bold there. It's been a while since I tasted it, but I feel like I don't think it would be too mild, that one. I think that'd be quite nice. Yeah. And then finally, so it did quite a few, as I say. Well, let's catch up of all these look back. So the final one, green and black salted caramel thin chocolate bar review. I said it wasn't as good as the Lily O'Brien's one, basically, so I might be a bit biased at the time because we've been both at the same time, really. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Yeah, just thought it wasn't as good. A bit average, really. So give myself the benefit of the doubt on that one. 3 out of 5. Clearly, when compared to the Lily O'Brien's one, it just wasn't really as good. So 3 out of 5. I think that sounds about right, really. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this look back. Let's say I'll try and catch up with you one soon. Check out all these other videos that are probably appearing all there on the screen. If they're not now, they will be soon. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Take care. Leave a like, leave a comment as well. Always do my best to reply. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. See ya. Bye.